Hello, welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jimmy Qualls, and with me as always is my co-host, Tate Mathews. Tate, we got 2 weeks left, man. This thing has flown by. But before we get to football, let's talk about a few things that's happened across the WCS Sports Conference this week. Volleyball state tournament is set to begin October 19th through the 21st. We have 3 teams in, Tate. No surprise to that. We've always talked about how good our volleyball group is. Brentwood defeated Wilson Central in the sectionals to face Bartlett in the first round. Bartlett sitting at 27-11 in the opening round of the state tournament. Imagine how Bartlett feels when they had that that blind drawing come out.
Yeah, that's never fun. And you know they had to be thinking it. They're all thinking that in the room. But I guess the Bartlett coach will say, hey, if we're going to win the state championship, we're going to probably have to beat them at some point anyways. Might as well do it in the first round. But that's easier said than done.
That's like pulling up onto a Porsche a parking lot, or a sales lot, and saying how much they are. If you're there, you don't want to care how much they are. So when you get to the state tournament, my point is, if you're going to win the state tournament, you've got to beat them all anyway. So it doesn't matter if it's first round, second round, championship game. Why prolong the inevitable? I know people want to get to that championship game. I guess there is some satisfaction in winning the game, and there is. But at that point in time, if you're there and you're truly there to win it, got to beat everybody.
That's right. Well, like Summit Siegel last year in the state baseball tournament. They were the 2 best teams in the state, and they got each other right off the bat.
Ravenwood defeated Portland in the sectionals to face Hardin Valley in the opening round. Hardin Valley's 31-9. Interesting matchup. Ravenwood. It'll be interesting to see. Hardin Valley comes in 31-9 to see how good our conference is in volleyball. If we go in and handle them pretty easily, that goes to show, regardless of what our records are within the conference, we have the best volleyball conference.
Well, there's no doubt about it. We do have the best volleyball conference, but it'll be fun to watch. It's kind of neat that Ravenwood got Hardin Valley. Hardin Valley is like to Farragut what Ravenwood is to Brentwood. Hardin Valley was formed and became a school because Farragut had gotten too big, and that part of the city had grown so much that they needed to build a new high school. So it's kind of neat that those two face off. It just goes to show when you have schools like that, you split them and they keep on winning. They both keep on winning. So Farragut and Hardin Valley, you always see them in volleyball. You always see them in soccer. Same thing with Ravenwood and Brentwood. But you're right. Ravenwood, hey, they know they've seen the best team in the state, 3-4 times already? So I would think they like their chances against anybody in the state tournament.
Oh, and I'd love nothing more to play that one more time for the state championship, have those 2 teams playing each other for the state championship this year, Brentwood and Ravenwood. On the AA level, Page defeated Lipscomb Academy in the sectionals. They will be facing, and this is kind of crazy, the conspiracy theories. You look at these things, I think it's just a blind draw at actually how it happened. But they face Knox Catholic, who is the opposite of Page. Those 2 teams are favored to win the AA state championship, but they have to face off in the opening round. Knox Catholic in the AA. That's who they'll face. Page will. It'd be interesting to see right there. I think that'll tell the tale of the tape of how this thing will go for Page in the opening round.
Yeah, it will, and that's going to be an exciting matchup if you like volleyball to watch. And I don't know a whole lot about them, but I know they are the 2 favorites. And Coach Hess, I don't know how many times this has been now that he's taken Page to the state tournament, but what a great job that he's been there. Funny, before he came to Page, he was an assistant volleyball coach for years at Ravenwood. So it's kind of neat to see those 3 in there. Really no surprise.
If I'm not mistaken, this is Page's 7th straight regional championship trip into, so we'll see. Hopefully he can get over the hump this year and win that Class AA volleyball state championship. On the soccer side, girls soccer, the AAA regional tournament is this week. Brentwood has already defeated Cane Ridge 6-1 to advance to the championship game. They will face Brentwood defeated Cane Ridge. They will face Franklin, who defeated McGavock 6-0 to go to the championship game. This is a great matchup. They have to play again. They faced each other in a district championship where Franklin won. But this is a kind of chill-out game. This is for seeding. This is for who goes on the road for sub-state or sectional and who stays at home. So neither one of them will be eliminated in this game. I'm glad that they both faced the do-or-die game and both won convincingly.
Oh, yeah, and we usually do when this happens. And so, and I think both these teams have a chance. If you talk to the soccer coaches in the conference, I think they both feel like most of them feel like both these guys have a chance to win the state championship. So what you got to do is, I would think you would much rather be at home. They've got 2 of the nicest soccer complexes in all the mid-state anyway, so I would much rather be at my place. But You know, and you know, momentum, I would think. So it's a big game, but you're right. They both have a chance to still make it to the state championship after this, and I think they both will.
And on the AA level, Fairview will have to face CPA, have to go to CPA. Page has to go to Montgomery Central in a do-and-die matchup there. Winner of each of those two matchups will face each other in the same format as the regional championship is on the line there. Best of luck to Fairview and Page. I hope Coach Clapp there loses another tough one, another heartbreaker to CPA. That is his nemesis right now. I don't want to call it an Achilles heel because I think he can beat him, but it's just one of those things getting over the hump. It's kind of like what we'll talk about here in just a few minutes. Chris Hughes, Fairview, Camden, same thing. It's one of those things. It's always maybe a mental thing. I don't know, but I wish both of those guys, Coach Clapp at Page and Fairview, the best of Kevin Sizemore there at Fairview, the best of luck. Hopefully they both advance. Be awesome. Get 4 teams in.
Yeah, it would be, and they got a chance. You know, I mean, those games have all been tough fought, so it would be neat to see both of them get in there too. I think at least one of them will get in.
On the golf championship side, AAA golf championship didn't come out like we wanted to this year from the team aspect. We had Brentwood, both Brentwood boys and girls in. Brentwood boys finished 4th, girls finished 6th. However, we did come away with a state championship individual. Trenton Johnson, sophomore at Brentwood, shoots 5 under to win by 2 strokes in state championship play on the boys' side. Michael Shears from Franklin comes in on day 2. He's almost completely out of it. Shoots a 66 to finish, to get himself in the clubhouse for a chance. When he finished, he was, I think, tied for 2nd at that point in time, but ended up finishing tied for 4th. If I'm not mistaken, it's the lowest second-day round shot in TWSAA history.
That's amazing.
66.
Yeah.
For those that don't know,
Can you shoot 66
6
on 9?
under. Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm not a bad golfer. But 66 on day 2, that ain't happening.
That's pretty strong.
That's real strong. You know, and that's what's one of those things. He gets in day 1. That's the nature of the beast in golf. You know, you got to put 2 rounds together to win this thing. And, you know, I wish he had just a few strokes back from that first day. He could have won this thing, but shooting 66. Adam Hallmark of Indy, Tanner Munzel of Ravenwood. Congratulations to all those guys that were in there on the girls' side, and Catherine Blackburn, Ravenwood, Mackenzie McGrath, Mack, Sydney Smith, Taylor Qualls, all those names that you recognize. Annie Paris from the Wilcos, great group of high-character girls and boys, and couldn't represent the WCS Sports Conference any better than what they did.
Yeah, and golf is one of those, you always want to win no matter what you're trying to do. It's kind of like the state basketball tournament, in my opinion. You know, you want to win it, but if you make it there, there is no shame in wherever you end up there. And so, you know, the goal is to win it. I understand that, but just making it there, that's an unbelievable accomplishment. There's a lot of people that were.
It's so mental too. I mean,
home.
you know, Trenton Johnson, bless his heart, he's young. Can't even drive yet, sophomore. So there's no fear. Hey, what water in front of 18? I'm going to put it right there at the pin. He puts it to 6 inches. Matter of fact, it's less than 6 inches to win the thing. When most people are thinking, all right, I don't want to hit it short into the water. Sand's on the left-hand side. My bailout's right. See, I'm telling you, you got to think about those things, Tate. Yeah. If you're a golfer, you knew exactly what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, you don't, so I'm trying to explain it to you. You come into 18, there's a small bit of water right there. There's also a trap, pin high left. The only bailout is right. So if you miss the shot, it needs to be right. Well, they stick the pin on the right side too. So if you bail out, you don't want to miss short. You short-sided yourself. So now you don't have any room to chip up. He doesn't even think about it. He just, you know,
swings.
He swings. He hits it in there, and he holds it just about. I mean, it's literally a tap in to win this thing. So he doesn't know any fear yet. That comes with the youth. Unfortunately, as he gets into the club championship when he's 27 and he's got all his buddies around, that might come into play. But he can always say he's a TWSAA state champion.
I mean, people can say that.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to football. Week 8 in the books. The conference went 5-1. It breaks our string of 3 straight weeks of being undefeated. It brings our overall record to 39-5. I'm a little disappointed in that. There's nothing to be shabby about 39-5, but I really wanted that 40-4. But Franklin fell a little short, but we'll get that in just a second. Let's start with Centennial. Centennial versus Brentwood. That was an in-conference game in regional matchup play. Right now, Brentwood hanging on, man. Hanging on with everything they have to try to get themselves positioned for playoffs. This would have been a huge win for them. But Centennial, behind the play of Zion Lee, who brings us to the Player of the Week, the WCTV Player of the Week this week. Zion Lee, also Titan Player of the Week on this 80-yard touchdown.
Lee's got the edge.
There he goes.
He's got all kinds of room. Off to the races.
He can
And
make
he's
it.
gone.
Nicely done. Good job.
Wow, we're talking about possibly running out the clock. Brentwood's got this thing on lockdown. They figured out the running game, and just like that, one pitch out to the right and a great block. You're going to see a great block on the outside that suffocates that whole edge and allows Lee to just keep right on trucking down the sidelines and take it in. Put Centennial up by 6 right now.
Boy, I don't think he was touched the entire way.
No, I mean, there was an amazing block on that edge.
That'll help your cause.
No doubt. 10-3 now. Centennial leads. 45 seconds remaining here in the second.
As you can see in this play, Tate, we had a little bit of rain that day. The field conditions were not great, not favorable by any stretch of the imagination. And it just kind of goes along with what Centennial has done all year long. They play ugly. They don't play dirty. They play ugly and they win ugly, and that's okay because they continue to win. Moves them to 7-1, 5-0. They won 27-17.
Yeah, great play, and that's what we've seen. That they have really. What are you going to hang your hat on? What are you going to be about? And obviously, running the ball is what Centennial is going to be about, and that's how you draw it up. That's how you practice it every day, And Tony Wall with a great block out. The H-back comes out and pushes his guy, drives him out to the sideline to create that seam. Eli Katina takes out 2 guys. He's the biggest guy on the field. He pulls, gets out there, takes out not 1 but 2 guys, and Zion takes it to the house. That's how you draw it up. That's how you practice it. I know Coach Oliver and Coach Kreisky had to be very, very excited about that. Zion Lee turning out to be a really, really nice player in the mid-state right now.
Absolutely, and he brings his complete stats. At that game, 30 rushing attempts, 215 yards. What a great game for him. Like I said, he is up for Titans Player of the Week. I'll be shocked if he doesn't get it after that performance. It was a tale of two sides. One, Centennial did not have a whole lot of passing attempts. As I look back here, had 6 passing attempts, 3, which was very, very smart in this game. I mean, it was not a favorable condition for any kind of flashy play. It was one of those grinded out type games. Brentwood on the other side, looking to throw several passes. I think Shacklet may have struggled just a little bit of making – I don't know if it's making the right decision or not, but I think the pressure of the defensive line, because you got to understand, Brentwood had 2 of their main offensive linemen out, and I think that played a huge factor in this game. Defensive line pressured the quarterbacks for Brentwood to have to make a quick decision. A lot of decisions were out routes along the sidelines, which are one-on-one plays, which are sometimes difficult. The across the middle plays were somewhat open. LeBrecht made some plays, but it forced them to speed up their decision making, and I think it really affected them.
Oh yeah, well, and they're a very good defense. So that was, you look at what Centennial did on the offensive side, almost 400 yards of rushing. As impressive as that is, the thing I was most impressed with is they held Brentwood to 142 yards of total offense. That's a great accomplishment, a great team defense, and Brentwood's been playing really well on offense the past few weeks. But even in the games they've lost, they've put up a lot of yards. So the defense played well. You got Clay Carter in the middle, going sideline to sideline. What a great job he's been doing all year long.
71 tackles on the year.
That's right. And then it's easy to say you want to attack them in the passing game, but that's one thing that Centennial really hangs their hat on. They got some ball hawks back in that secondary with Durow and the others, and so playing very well. It was just a great team win, and they've had to win some games passing the ball. They've had to win some games running the ball, and they keep on winning. That's the thing I think is most impressive. They've got 3 now between Mathews, Thurston, Zion Lee, and then Jariel Wilson. They got 3 guys that they can give the ball to. The other thing, one to stay on that, is I don't think Zion had a fumble. I'm not positive, but I don't think he did. 30 carries, no fumble. That's impressive, man.
Centennial, Matt Kreisky. I mean, can you put a price on the job that's happened this year? He's 2 games away from tying the school record of wins in the regular season. He's got 2 big games to go. He's got Rossview this week. I think that's a win. We'll talk about it in just a minute. And then he's going to finish with, obviously, Henry County. And this thing could play out for the region championship unless Brentwood beats Henry County this week. I mean, these are big games. Brentwood sitting right now 4-4, 3-2 in the region. These games are huge for Brentwood. They've got to pretty much win both, I would think. If they lose one, they're going to have a lot of help. And that could possibly happen. We'll look at that scenario in just a few minutes. But, it's the job that Coach Kreisky has done at Centennial. They're a dark horse. How far can this team go?
I think they could go. Here's the problem. You're going to have to go through Independence again. And who knows? I think
Can we see that matchup like we did last year in the semis?
Yeah, I think
because
without a doubt.
you look at the big. Here we go. Sorry. You look at the big school polls. Nothing against Franklin. Franklin's playing really good right now. What is Franklin's lone loss?
Centennial.
Right. So they're both sitting at 7-1.
Right. And Centennial
And Franklin,
losses to Independence.
Right. And Franklin is currently ranked 2 spots above them, where Centennial has not moved at all. They're sitting in number 7, number 8 spot. And you look at this and you think the only loss they had was to an Independence team, which was a competitive game.
Right.
Of course, Independence ranked 4th, cannot jump anybody, won 23 in a row. I guess hey, have to win 60 or 70 in a row to get to that number 1 spot. But I put too much stock in it. I know. I think it's a great talking point.
No,
for us.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
But I think that is a reflection of where Centennial sits right now. They're not flashy. They're not the what's the word I'm looking for? They're not the great pick that Independence could possibly be, or an Oakland could be, or a Brentwood Academy. They just get it done.
Yeah.
And they get it done under the radar. And I love that about them. I think they'll own that. I think it's a disrespect to them. And I think they use that as locker room fodder to continue this run that they're making.
And there's another thing that we always lose track of that I've been meaning to mention. Not only did they play great on defense, they won the field possession battle as well. So, going into playoff football, 3 things. You better be able to run the ball. Check. You better be able to play good defense. Check. Turnovers and field position. Centurion DeRoe, starting defensive back, maybe one of the best defensive backs in the mid-state. He's a guy who can be a weapon for him in the passing game on the receiver side. They can run the ball with him. He averaged 44.3 yards per punt. That's good for a full-time punter.
Well, think about that. You've got the number 1 punter in the nation on the other side, and you still win the field position.
He was on the hill on Saturday too, so that was pretty. That was
pretty
good.
And
I hope they're smart enough to offer him. Maybe they have. I don't know.
Moving on, Franklin 7-1, 5-0 beats McGavick 48-21. Not much to see here. 34-7 after end the first quarter. 48-7 at the half. You predicted this, a running clock here at halftime. What do we know about this game?
It was a game that they should have won easily. It was a game that probably should have been a running clock in the second half, and it was. So, mature football team. Now, the thing that's a little bit scary against a team like them is, they've got athletes and they've got speed. So, obviously, the defense came out and played very well, but the 2 quarterback system of Carter Henry and Wes Patterson continues to click. That's really neat to see. They really don't miss a beat one way or the other, no matter who's in. And they're both doing a great job of leading the team. They're both doing a great job of making plays. So Mitch Rossi, again, 143 rushing yards.
He's a hoss, man.
He's a hoss, man. And that wears you down and that demoralizes you. You got that big old offensive line just leaning on you and hitting on you, and then this guy comes through.
He's hitting on you too.
Right. And you're getting beat, and you get to the, midway through the second quarter, and you're like, man, this isn't what I signed up for, And then they do such a great job. It sounds like a broken record, but that's what their offense is. They keep hitting you, and then they hit you with that play action. Gaka gets behind them, touchdown, and
6 different receivers touch the ball.
that's great.
Doctor defense loves that 4 yards in a cloud of dust, handoff. It's just like you said, they grind, and then the minute you go to sleep on them, boom, it hits you with a long bomb for the touchdown. Then what does that do? That means they try to change something defensively on you, and then here comes your guy, Mitch Rossi, hammering people. He gets 143 yards on 14 attempts. That's getting it done. And
10 yards per carry.
And I'm telling you right now, I would love to see Franklin Centennial play right now. I think we talked about this on the air with them. And
Franklin Centennial, how about Franklin Independence?
Oh, that'd be a great game too. But I'm just going back to the fact that Dr. Defense might need to give a shout out to Centennial and their team for waking up the sleeping dragon, because this team right now
Playing well.
could very well be one of the top 3 teams in 6A football right now. You throw Oakland in there, obviously. You throw
Maryville.
Maryville, obviously, Maryville in there. And I think Franklin's right there in the conversation. Those top 3 will have to go through. Obviously, Maryville, Oakland will have to play each other to get there.
That's right.
Whitehaven, Franklin will have to play each other to get there. I think right now the Rebels are in control and right now knocking on the door of getting themselves into the 6A state championship game.
Yeah. Well, the first thing they got to do is beat Mount Juliet, which we're talking about here in a bit. And then when they get to the playoffs, I would think there's a good chance we're going to see Mount Juliet Wilson Central Part 2 for the second year in a row. I mean, Franklin Wilson Central Part 2 in the playoffs. But you're right. They if they can keep playing like they're playing, they got a chance to make it to Cookeville, and boy, that would be fun to watch.
Speaking of another team that's playing extremely well, Old Sparty. Don't go to sleep on Old Sparty. 6-2, 4-1 beats Lincoln County. They are officially in the playoffs, but they're not done here. They're wanting to get a home game, and a home game is right in the grasp of their hands. The only thing that stands between them and a home game is Columbia Central, W. And this week, Stewart's Creek, the one that everybody's been circling. How good are they? How can they beat Stewart? W. Put it in your book.
Do you remember last week, Zakreski went 2 for 3, and I said –
in warm-ups.
I said, and the week before they went 1 for 1, and I said, what do you think's going to happen this year, Eric Ullman? Do you remember what you said?
I can't remember.
You said he was going to go 3 for 4. He goes 3 for 4 last week, and he had, I believe, 25 yards.
25 yards.
We're up at it every week. But the thing that was most impressive, and it's something that we see every week, and it's been fun to watch, Dalton Fisher, 109 yards. Tyler Palmer, 19 yards. Ty Carter, 93 yards.
That's in one quarter, by the way, for Ty Carter.
Christian Snyder, 72 yards. Now remember, they know they're going to run the ball.
Yeah, there's no doubt. The only thing, I mean, really, scout report. Do they throw? No. They're going to run the ball.
And they
stop them.
That's right. Scored 27 points in the first half, 37 points in the third quarter. I mean,
is Summit the most talented team we have? No. Are they the most athletic team that we have? No.
Probably
so
not.
my question to you is coaching and confidence. How big of a role does that play? I'm going to ask the same question to you about Fairview right now. Confidence right now, it makes all the difference maker in a team. If you go out there and you know and you believe that you can win these games regardless, if you're outmanned, don't have as many athletes, I think this is what's coming into play right here. Ty Carter's as good as an athlete there is in the Big Six. You know, we've talked about this week in and week out. But the confidence that the Summit Spartans are showing, Old Sparty right now, I mean, it's out the roof. They know they're in, and they're not finished. I mean, not only are they going to get a home playoff game, which I think that and truly believe they'll get, I think they'll win round 1.
Oh, I do too.
Of the playoffs.
They're good. Hey, they're a good football team now. I mean, Spring Hill was the beginning of the game. I mean, beginning of the year, and then their only other losses to Independence. So obviously they're a really good football team. And again, I don't think you can give Coach Coleman enough credit because here's the deal. Like we were talking about earlier with Centennial, what are you about? Okay, what are you going to be about? And that's what Summit's going to be about, running the football. And last year, you know, when some of those games are losing, and I'm sure people, why don't we throw the ball? He stayed with the process because he knew that's what it is, and then look where they are right now. That's a big part of it, man. And that's easier said than done, sticking with it when you know it's the right thing to do.
3 quick points on Summit before we move on. Horse collar penalty at Spring Hill. We'll give you only 1 loss.
That's right.
Not to trying to just saying. If they played Spring Hill right now, they would beat Spring Hill.
Oh, no doubt.
Number 2, Ty Carter eclipses 1,000 yards for the year, 1,074. And they have outscored their opponents in this minimum throwing, vertical passing, Coach Coleman, offense by 224 points. 255 to 131. So you can say what you want to about the pass. They're getting it done on the field, and they beat Lincoln County 37-7. Independence, not a whole lot to talk about here, folks. They play Columbia Central, who had not won a game. Indy folks, we love you. I love you, Indy Nation. Number 23. That's all I'm keeping it minimal this year for those guys. Hey, hashtag 23 this week. At the end of this week, be hashtag 24. They beat Columbia Central 53-7. Do you have anything real quick on that? I know Scurry.
Sheffield, 124 rushing yards on 2 carries, 2 touchdowns. That's something that I haven't seen, so I don't know where that came from. But getting the ball to Sheffield like that, that's just another dimension to that offense.
Speaking of the Big Orange,
scary.
Speaking of the Big Orange, after that game, UT offers Sheffield. There's UT offers on both receivers at Independence. Boys, I'm just telling you, buckle up. This ride is.
And they're both sophomores.
Hey, this ride is 3 years in the making. 2 years to go. You got Troy Henderson coming back as well. the Indy Nation is a long way. And we may have to win the state championship for the next 4 years to get Tom Krieger to vote for us as the #1 vote. But we'll hang in there. You have on your show next time you ask him about that. All right, Ravenwood 4-4, 3-2, loses to Overton. Not a great game for Coach Westman and them.
Hey man, penalties. You can't let that happen, and it got away from them. Good thing about that is that's something you can correct. But Overton's an athletic team, and they got playmakers. But again, I think if Ravenwood wants to know what happened, they got to look in the mirror.
Got beat 34-16. Fairview moves to undefeated. They also played East Hickman. Not a whole lot to report here. I do want to mention this about Coach Hughes' group. Hunter Hammonds. He's been
That was really neat.
He's been a lifetime ball boy. Manager, thank you for the Fairview team all the way in middle school. I grew up with his mother, know his mother well, know the family. Fantastic deal there. They finally get an opportunity for him to come into the game, never as dressed, get him into the game, scores a 2-point conversion.
That's awesome. If that doesn't tug at you, if that don't make you happy, you got a problem.
All right, I'm going to leave this last little segment to you. Page moves to 5-2, 4-0, defeats Giles County. Hey, this is a big win. That was a big win for Page.
Huge win, man. And the way they did it, they had to come back and win. Cruz Kerrigan with that 99-yard field. I don't know what you call that thing. I guess a field goal attempt return for a touchdown. You cannot. I mean, that had to be the play of the week. If it wasn't, I don't think. I'm talking about in the mid-state, but that was an unbelievable play. They had to fight to the end to get it. Not only did he take that thing back 99 yards, he had 10 tackles. Big game for him.
I think this falls right in the same category that Page has got some confidence going for them. Look out. There's a good chance right now that solidifies their playoff appearance, a home playoff game, and looking at playing East Hamilton again to revenge from last year.
Well, and let's remember this real quick. We're not in the excuse-making business, but we talked about it last year and the year before. You know, they've been so banged up this time of year, the past 2 years, and going into the playoffs. This goes to show if these guys can stay healthy, they can play with anybody.
All right, here we go. Pick'ems. You're sitting right now at 36-13. I'm at 42-7. I do want to say something I forget. Nolensville defeats CPA to go 7-1. Nolensville's rolling right now.
They got after them.
We'll talk about it next week. All right, Brentwood, Henry County, big one. Who do you have? This is a tough one.
It's tough, but I think Henry County gets it.
All right, come on.
I hope not, but I think Henry County
Come on, Coach Crawford. We got the wagon circling right here. This is a big game, playoff, on the line, possibility. I got to go with the Bruins right here, rebounding against Henry County. They're not as good as advertised. Mount Juliet, Franklin.
Dr. Defense.
Not even close. People think it's going to be a close one.
This one will not be like Wilson Central.
No, Franklin County wins easily. Summit, Old Sparty, Stewart's Creek.
There's going to be 1,000 rushing yards between the two teams.
It's a tough one for
This game right here shows that Summit has gotten over the hump. Summit gets the win, but this is a barn burner.
Wing T extraordinaire. Both teams run it. Summit wins. Franklin County, Indy, running clock. I can answer that for you. You don't even have to answer.
That's right.
Indy wins. Centennial Rossview could be interesting. I think Centennial wins.
Rossview's athletic, but Centennial, this isn't a blowout. Centennial wins.
Camden Fairview. Coach Chris Hughes gets over the hump. Fairview wins this one.
The Yellow Jackets go to 9-0.
Page White House.
Running clock. The Patriots.
There you go, Patriot Nation. You heard it here. Tate calls the running clock. I'll take it with him. Ravenwood Wilson Central last game. That's a tough one.
I hope the Ravenwood that beat Mount Juliet shows up, but Wilson Central's got too much firepower.
Oh, come on. G2 bar all the way. We'll see how we play out these games next week. We'll see you next time.